Marjorie, and welcome back to my channel, Singing Made Simple. I'm so excited today to talk to you about finding your voice. And it's kind of a weird term, isn't it? Anyway, like, did you lose your voice? So, I mean, we can lose our voice if we get sick or we hurt our voices, but what does it mean to find your voice when you're talking about singing or finding out what you think your voice should sound like? Or maybe what you really mean is what style you should sing. And who do you sound like? So I've got some tips for you in helping you find your voice and figure out who you are as a singer and what is the type of music that you want to sing. What do you want to present to audiences, and what do you want to sound like when you're doing recordings? If you are someone like me who has had a lot of voice lessons and studied voice in college and studied voice professionally, has been singing a long time, then you've probably sung in a lot of different styles, some more than others. Some of you have been writing your songs from the get-go, and so you've been doing just you all that time. I feel like I've done a lot of different versions of me and what I sound like, and a lot of different type of styles. I was often asked to sing for events and given a song to sing, and so I sang in a lot of different kinds of styles and felt like I needed to be able to master a lot of different vocal styles. And that left me feeling like I wasn't sure what I sounded like. So when I started to really master my voice and started to gain some confidence in just being a good singer and knowing that there were a lot of sounds I could make and a lot of styles I could sing, then I wanted to figure out what did I really want to sing. And so that's where I want you to start. I'm gonna give you some ideas about ways that you can figure out what is your sound, what does your voice sound like. First thing I want you to think about is, what do you listen to? What are your influences? What did you grow up listening to? That doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily sound like whatever your mom and dad like to listen to, but you probably have some influences coming from them just because of the part of the planet that you grew up on. You've been influenced and you've heard songs that make up at least some of who you are and what you sound like. So go back and reflect on that a bit. The next thing I would say is look at your Spotify wrap up if you have one of those, and pay attention to what are the singers and the sounds and the styles that you are currently listening to. What do you love? What moves you? Now, you might think, well, there are things that I love that I can't actually sing. And that may be true, but I bet there's some influences happening there. Some things that you love that you would like, or you are incorporating into your singing style already. And maybe you could explore and find those out. The next thing that I want you to pay attention to is, what kind of story do you want to tell? So there are a lot of different stories that you can tell with a song, and some of them fit you more than others. If you can think about your story and who you are, the closer that you get to that with a song, I think the more that you're going to move audiences, and they're going to feel like you are authentic and you're really being you and sounding like you. So think about those stories that most closely align to who you are, your values, things that you've been through, things that you love, and try to sing those stories. Whether that means you are writing those songs or you're finding those songs to cover, the ones that closely or most closely align with who you are and who you've been and who you want to be, the story that you want to tell. The next thing I want you to do is, I want you to get a little list together or send out a note to your friends and say, hey, who are 3 artists that you think I sound like? When I was doing my first album and I needed to write about myself, which is a hard thing to do, like describe yourself and what you sound like. But what I was told was that I needed to ask people close to me who knew me and say, who are 3 artists that you think I sound like, that my music kind of sounds like? And that was helpful. That way I could tell people, if there were radio stations or people I was doing concerts for or whatever, that I was coming to sing or I wanted to come sing for them, I could tell them kind of who I sounded like. And you could do that too for yourself. So ask several friends, ask your mom, ask folks who maybe don't know you personally, but they would just be willing to listen to your music and just give you 3 artists that they think you kind of sound like. And that's a good help for finding out who who you are and what your voice sounds like, and finding out what kind of music you really want to sing. So I think those are like some great tools to get you going. And I think that one thing that really helped me decide who I was and what my voice sounded like, how to find my voice as a singer, was to write songs. And you might not be in that place. Maybe you don't feel like that's your strength. But when I started writing songs, I really didn't, I wrote a little bit early on in my early 20s, and then I just put it away because my husband's a professional songwriter, and I thought, well, that's like his job and I can't just learn to do that. But turns out I could learn to do that. I could get better at it, and I really love it. I love being able to tell my story and other people's stories through music and songs. And so I continue to write songs now, and it's really helped me figure out what I can sing well, what I like to sing by writing my own songs. Okay, one thing I almost forgot to tell you that I think is really important in helping you find your voice is, what are your limits? I know you might think like, well, you're supposed to be helping me with my voice, Marjorie, so I don't have any limits and I can sing anything. My range is huge and my tone is wonderful and I sing in tune. Yes, I do want to help you with all those things, but I have limits. There are certain styles that don't sound as well in my voice as they do in others, and there are limits to my range. I can't sing every note on the planet or everybody's songs in the key that they sing them in. So I want you to think about what your limits are and try to find out what music fits what your voice is capable of doing. In other words, there are some songs that you sing really well and are really easy for you to sing. And I want you to land in that spot and try to find out what you can sing really well right now. That doesn't mean that you can't grow, and we can't pick up some other styles and get some influences into your voice and sing a few more licks and runs than you do right now. We can grow in that area. And the way you're going to grow in that area is by listening. That means listening to the styles that are doing things with their voice, singers that are doing things with your voice that you can't do right now. That's how you're going to grow. But back to find out what your limits are. What are the things you do really well? And try to find the style of music that will work for what you can do right now. And that's going to help you find your voice. Keep singing. Come back and see me again. I'd love to keep sharing about what makes singing simple. It's not always easy, but I want to make it simple for you so that you can figure out how to use your voice in the most wonderful, most moving, most powerful way. Have a great day.